Kyron Horman, missing from Skylight Elementary School, Portland, Oregon, June 4th, 2010.
Kyron's a quiet kid. You almost don't think he's there. And then you'll hear him say some really intelligent comment. And you just turn and look at him and what are you talking about? And he picks up everything. He's just a sponge.
The glasses that he wore and the expressions on his face.
He just has this great laugh that, you hear it and it just fills your soul.
Kyron Richard Horman entered the world on September 9th, 2002 in Portland, Oregon, born to parents Kane and Desiree. Despite their divorce before Kyron's birth, he spent his initial years under his mother's care. Desiree's health challenges led to Kyron relocating to live with his father, Kane, a busy engineer for Intel.
While Desiree focused on her health, Terry, then dating Kane, gradually took on a parenting role, eventually moving in and becoming Kyron's stepmother after marrying Kane in 2007.
Terry, already familiar with Kane, had a history with him, including an affair during his marriage to Desiree. However, upon moving in, Terry and Kane rekindled their romance, culminating in marriage in 2007. Adding to their family, Terry and Kane welcomed their daughter, Era, while Terry brought her son James from a previous marriage into the fold. Kyron, a spirited 7-year-old, harbored aspirations of becoming a police officer like his stepfather, Tony Young. Excelling academically, particularly in math, Kyron also displayed a natural flair for sign language.
Thomas Pittsburgh, finalized plans for the bridge by 1775. The construction was started in 1777. Thomas Pittsburgh died, so Aaron and Darby.
However, concerns arose regarding Kyron's memory lapses in the weeks preceding his disappearance. Scheduled for a doctor's appointment on June 11th, 2010, to address potential underlying causes, Kyron's fate took a tragic turn on June 4th. On the morning of June 4th, 2010, Kyron attended a science fair at Skyline Elementary School, accompanied by Terry and Kyara. Witnessed by several individuals, Kyron's presence was confirmed. However, following Terry's departure with Kyara, Kyron vanished without a trace.
I think, everybody has held on to that story that came out initially, whether it's the first, second, or third version of Terry's timeline, or fourth or fifth. And the reality is super simple. Terry got to the school around 8:10, 8:15. It was before any other parent was in the school. It was before Miss Porter was in her classroom or had her classroom unlocked. That is strategic because Terry was walking around the school checking security aspects at the school before she ever walked around with Kyron. Terry also pulled Kyron out of the teacher chaperoned group. As you know, schools are very strategic about teaching kids something. So the science fair was not just about visiting with friends. It was about teaching them something. They had a questionnaire. They had to walk around with a teacher chaperoned group. They had to answer all the questions specific to the different exhibits so that they were learning at the same time they were having a little bit of entertaining fun. But the reality is that Terry walked around with Kyron to these other classrooms. She went to 3 classrooms. She walked up the gym stairs, walked down the hallway with Kyron to Miss Porter's classroom, which was the last stop. She took the photo of Kyron in front of his diorama and 2 of Kyron's friends. And she walked out the school with Kyron at that very moment. It is witnessed by people who were outside the school who know Kyron, his friends, their parents, their grandparents, and siblings. So we know that Terry walked out the school with Kyron and walked toward the truck. That is where he disappears. It's that simple. It's not complicated. Kyron was with one person that day and one person was in charge of him. And that's the reality of what happened that day. She did everything to try and structure that day so that she could do this. She had planned it. She planned it months in advance. We know that she was out driving the roads, scoping sites. We know this because her car was very memorable. Eyewitnesses account for her all over the roads of Northwest Portland. And I believe she was testing cell phone signal as well to see where she would drop off of cell coverage.
How would she do that?
Just driving around, checking her phone, because we know that she was outside a cell signal. And when that phone pinged at 11 a.m., she came back into signal.
You'd mentioned several people saw her leave the school that day. Remind me of who that was.
His friend Carson, his grandma, and they didn't see her get in the truck. We do have an eyewitness on Skyline that says she got in the truck with someone else being in the truck. But they don't see her walking and getting in the truck, that full thing, because where she was parked on Skyline, it was hidden. But they see Kyron walking with Terry as if they were walking together, not holding hands, but walking next to each other, going the same direction.
Upon Kane's return from work, the family discovered Kyron's absence.
Down to go get him from the bus like we would normally do. The bus came by and the bus driver opened the door and was like, yeah, he's not on the bus today. And I was like, well, why is he not on the bus? He was at school today.
Triggering a frantic search. Despite extensive efforts involving over 1,300 searchers spanning 10 days, Kyron remained missing, transitioning his case from a missing persons inquiry to a criminal investigation.
He's not the kind of child that would just go out of school and just go, searching or wandering around. He's just a very timid, sweet boy.
At school, walking to his classroom after a science fair. Today, police in Oregon are expanding the search for a missing 7-year-old boy. They're also asking for any photos or...
there's always an off chance that he wandered off and it was just fine. He just got lost and somebody picked him up and was trying to help him out.
Police in Portland, Oregon this morning say that they're still concentrating on the area where he was last seen.
It has been nearly a week since Kyron Horman vanished from his elementary.
And authorities have been following up now on more than 1,200 tips.
Officials admit the clock is ticking.
As so far, each day has ended with little to report.
It's always frustrating, when we're not finding anything, especially when we have such high hopes.
Investigators suspended the search and rescue. It's become clear Kyron is not simply lost.
Would he just go on a hike at the end of the year? That doesn't seem like something he would do.
Detectives announced this has become a criminal investigation. And the focus?
Where is she and why is she not speaking?
We wanted to speak out as the natural parents for Kyron.
Behind the scenes, we'd later learn suspicions were mounting. His family had come apart.
Terry was on a whole nother playing field than we were. It was 3 against 1, and she was not looking out for Kyron. She was not interested in helping in any way.
Suspicion soon centered on Terry, fueled by failed polygraph tests, revelations of animosity toward Kyron.
Everyone knows the fact that she's taken her 2 polygraphs. She has not passed those 2 polygraphs.
Eyewitness accounts and discrepancies in Terry's timeline further heightened scrutiny. Despite these allegations, tangible evidence linking Terry to Kyron's disappearance remained elusive. As Kyron's family clings to hope, law enforcement agencies continue their investigative endeavors. However, Kyron's whereabouts remain unknown, leaving his loved ones grappling with uncertainty and yearning for closure. Kyron's parents, Kyron Horman and Desiree Young, were central figures in the investigation that followed their son's disappearance. As the inquiry unfolded, suspicion veered toward Terry Horman, Kyron's stepmother. She was the only adult among the quartet of Kyron's parents and step-parents to fail 2 polygraph exams. Revelations from Terry's email suggested a strained relationship with Kyron, implicating him in her marital discord. Furthermore, her comment to Desiree, "I loved your son," mere days after Kyron's disappearance, raised eyebrows due to its past tense, contrasting with the family's hopeful outlook. Desiree firmly believed in Terry's guilt, a sentiment echoed by Kane. He cited Terry's postpartum depression, personality disorder, and alcohol issues as contributing factors. Their marriage eventually dissolved, and Kane seeking a restraining order against Terry. Speculation extended to Terry's close friend Dee Dee Spicer, whose unaccounted 3-hour absence on the day of Kyron's disappearance aligned with Terry's timeline. Though Dee Dee denied involvement, suspicions lingered, especially given her reluctance to disclose her whereabouts. In 2020, revelations surfaced from multiple witnesses who reportedly saw Kyron leaving the school with Terry on the morning of June 4th. These testimonies, coupled with Terry's alleged cheerful demeanor on the day of Kyron's disappearance and accusations of her washing Kyron's belongings, added weight to the suspicions surrounding her. Additionally, allegations emerged of Terry's involvement in a hitman plot to kill Kane. While the validity of these claims remained disputed, past incidents involving Terry's alleged attempts to hire a hitman resurfaced, further clouding her involvement in Kyron's disappearance. Despite mounting evidence and suspicion, Terry maintained her innocence, posting Kyron's abduction from the school as an alternative theory. Following Kyron's disappearance, Terry has faced legal troubles, including incidents involving a stolen car and theft of a firearm from her roommate. Additionally, she was accused of domestic violence in 2016 by her former partner, Joseph Cristobal. In 2012, a Multnomah County Circuit judge labeled Terry as prime suspect, yet concrete evidence linking her or anyone else to Kyron's disappearance remains elusive.
15 years have passed since 7-year-old Kyron Horman vanished from Skyline Elementary School on June 4th, 2010, after attending a science fair. Despite extensive investigations, his whereabouts remain unknown, making it one of Oregon's most enduring mysteries. Kyron was last seen by his stepmother, Terry Horman, who stated she watched him walk toward the classroom. However, he never arrived and was marked absent. A massive search ensued, involving over 1,300 volunteers and law enforcement personnel, but no trace of Kyron was ever found. Investigators focused on Terry Horman due to inconsistencies in her account, but she was never charged. Over the years, the case remained open with periodic searches and reviews. Recently, the Monotona County Sheriff's Office announced a renewed effort to digitize and reorganize all case files, collaborating with the FBI's Behavioral Analysis Unit to re-examine the investigation with fresh eyes. Kyron's mother, Desiree Young, continues to hold on to hope, stating, "Being able to search for tips and things of that nature is something I've wanted for Kyron's case for many years."
What is the message now?
I think it's the same. I think it's don't lose hope, don't give up. How many stories have we seen kids coming home 20 years later? Obviously, this is not a sprint, it's been a marathon, and I think it's going to continue to be, and hopefully it's resolved tomorrow. But until it is, we have to stay vigilant. We got to keep doing what we've been doing and say don't give up and keep grinding. I can't think of another way.
What does closure look like for you?
Bringing them home. Bringing them home. And I don't know what that means, but bringing them home.
When I'm 90, I'm still going to cry over this. This is something that changed our entire lives. You never move on fully from that. You don't get to a point where you get to say, oh, we get to close that door and move on to something else. It's a constant, and it's earth-shattering. I mean, it's just not something that you ever come back from.
A $50,000 reward remains for information leading to the resolution of Kyron's disappearance. Tips can be submitted to the Monotona County Sheriff's Office. As the community marks this somber anniversary, the search for answers continue, driven by a family's unwavering hope and the dedication of investigators committed to finding the truth. If you have any information concerning this case, please contact the Monotona County Sheriff's Office at 503-988-0560 or the National Center of Missing and Exploited Children at 1-800-THE-LOST. You can also submit a tip online at tips.fbi.gov. Hope is why we're here.